Jihad for Love is the name of the picture. The man who made it is sitting here right beside me, Parvez Sharma. Nice to see you. Thank you. I am assuming, unfortunately, that a scene like that played out many times for you in putting a movie like this together.
Definitely, for the last 6 years, it's happened constantly. What's interesting about Mazen, though, is that when I started filming with him 4 years ago, he was too afraid to show his face, and it was only during the filming that he decided, as he says in the film, that he needs to show his face, he needs to tell his story. And he does so at tremendous risk to himself because his family is still back in Egypt.
So there's always a story out there that people talk about, you know, reconciling one's own faith with one's own reality. Homosexuality is a big part of this in religions all over the world. Talk about your experience making this particular picture dealing with Islam and homosexuality. And it's 6 years. That's a long time to make a movie.
Definitely. I think God and sex have a difficult relationship in any religion when you put the two things together. And Islam's treatment of homosexuality is no different from the other monotheistic religions, which is Judaism and Christianity. It was a struggle to make the film. It was a jihad, indeed, to make the film. What was most important was trying to win the trust of these subjects that you see in the film, very compelling subjects, all of them, and going to them with my camera and telling them to share their faith and their sexuality, two very personal things you would not want to talk to someone about, and doing so at tremendous risk to themselves. Wherever I filmed, I never sought government permission because I knew it would not be granted.
Well, didn't you shoot 10 minutes on the beginning of each tape and 10 minutes on the end of each tape of regular tourist photos?
I did. I did that in Egypt, I did that in Bangladesh, I did that everywhere I went because we were trying to embed the material in the middle of the tape so that if customs authorities got the tapes and decided to screen them, they would only see touristy photos. And it's really guerrilla-style filmmaking in many ways, but it was also interesting. The same Islam that makes me so visible in the West, in the United States, where I live, made me invisible in Muslim countries because I looked like everyone else. I spoke the language. So I went with a very Muslim camera, but I still had to pretend to be a tourist to shoot this film, and I really had to work on my handheld skills because tripods attract so much attention.
Certainly.
And it was quite a journey.
The experience of being gay and Muslim is not a universal experience, in that I'm sure it's different being an Indian man who's gay living in the United States versus an Indian being a Muslim man in Egypt or in another country. Did you find there were a lot of different, I guess, grades of experience?
Absolutely, and one of the grades of experience is that right now Islam is under so much attack from within the religion and from outside. It's not a monolithic concept as we so easily sort of fall into that trap. Whatever's beamed into our homes, courtesy Fox and Friends and so on and so forth. And what I was doing was traveling the whole Islamic spectrum. I was talking to people in all the different languages of Islam, and they all had different relationships to Islam based on their culture, based on their upbringing, based on the countries they were in. So in a country like Turkey, where you actually have gay bars, the situation is much more different than it is in Egypt, where Hosni Mubarak's government carried out a pogrom in the summer of 2001 and arrested 52 gay men like Mazen and put them in prison. Iran, completely different situation. Pakistan, completely different. So it was trying to bring all of these things together. And as an Indian Muslim, of course, it was really interesting to film with Arab Muslims, given the sense of authority Arabs feel over Islam. So it was a long journey.
Well, in India, it's different, isn't it, for a gay man? I mean, it's not that it's endorsed, but isn't it a little bit more of a kind of a, you know, it's just there. It's not treated the same way.
It's there everywhere. Yeah. I mean, you know, there are gay Muslims everywhere. Yeah. And as much as there are gay Christians or gay anything else. And
there are no gay Scientologists. We've proven that. There are no...
I've met a few.
Did one of them star in... Never mind. I'm just kidding.
It's as long as you're not marching on the street, as long as you're not having a gay pride, as long as you're not waving your rainbow flag, you know, and saying you're gay, I'm out, I'm here, I'm queer, I'm Muslim, it's okay. It's almost a rites of passage for people sometimes, because especially in Muslim societies, you have the segregation of the sexes. What do you do? So you know, I mean, it's like, and marriage is not an option. Everyone has to get married eventually, and homosexuality has existed in Islam for 1427 years, and men have been with men and women have been with women, and it's just the way it is.
You know, I know over the course of this show being on the air for 3 odd years, we've run stories before of Christians who are gay and try to be deprogrammed and realize they can't. Some do, some that whole relationship. And whenever we do stories like that, you get the response saying you can't be like other Christians will say you can't be a Christian and be gay. That's just. So my question is, did you ever just say why even bother being? Because your lifestyle doesn't fit in with one person's perception of Islam. So maybe, are you a Muslim really? Like, and why fight to claim that when it doesn't seem to work for the countries in which most people come from?
That's a question I asked every single person in this film. And it's a very important question, but I feel that in this film, all the subjects are coming out as Muslims first. Their sexual identities are actually secondary, because they are claiming Islam and saying that we have the right to be Muslim as much as anybody else. And we're Muslims first, and our faith is profound and deep. And they have all consciously chosen to stay within the faith and to fight that battle of acceptance within the faith. And I think we need to respect that.
Thanks for coming in, man. Good to see
you.
you. Parvez Sharma, everybody. The movie is called Jihad for Love. Check it out if you get the chance. The Hour will be right back.